I love doing these lives with you guys Sundays at 9 a.m. because it's to answer the questions that you leave here in the comments. And this weekend, I spend all the time with my Elevate mentees, people in my mentorship program for this year, and it's the Cadillac weekend. So hence, we're going to be here instead of on the mat. But we have something really exciting going on that you don't want to miss in what is it going to be? It's May 12th to the 17th. So it's coming up really quick. We have spring training. And so if you are struggling with any exercise in the Pilates that puts your feet over your head, your hips over your shoulders, whether because you're not allowed to do them, you have a fear of doing them, or you just struggle doing them, this week of classes is for you. So you'll want to go to onlinepilatesclasses.com. We've got an amazing little way to go, ooh, I want spring training. It is up to 10 classes. So you can have the mat ticket only or the all equipment ticket. And if you have the mat ticket only, it's 4 classes. All equipment tickets get you up to 10 classes depending on the equipment that you have. And what's really exciting and fun is that there is replay access till May 24th. So if the time zones don't work for you in your schedule, you do have replay access till May 24th. If you come live though, even if you can't do the class, you can ask all the questions you want between me and my OPC teachers. We can really help you. We actually have some teachers who don't go overhead. So this is a really fun week and I hope you join us. So go to onlinepilatesclasses.com and if Brad is able to, he might even put the link there because I think it's opc.me/events. Okay, so if your hip flexors are dominant, it does mean that the roll up is quite difficult to do because your legs are probably popping up, right? And so then people will tell you, oh, if you struggle with the roll up, you should do the half roll back. And here's something that's really important for you to understand. Jay Grimes, who studied with Joe Pilates, he would say, you can layering an exercise is good. Modifying it is often not helpful. And I know that's difficult to hear because people want Pilates to be accessible. I agree with you. I want Pilates to be accessible for you as well. Accessibility means a lot of different things. But one of the things that I really do love about what Joe Pilates said in his book is like, do not move on to the next exercise until you've mastered the current one, right? And where I think his work evolved to, because his book was definitely in his earlier part of his work, based on the stories that I've heard, is that if you struggled with exercises, he would, instead of correcting you and cueing you, he would actually give you another exercise in the system. So if the half roll back, which is often the modification for the roll up, this is the half roll back. If this is difficult because these muscles are gripping, then the reality is that what I would rather see you do is actually work on things that will actually strengthen the back of your legs and then exercise that will stretch the front. Okay. So if you were in my class and the half roll back was just gripping your hip flexors, then we would actually eliminate that. If you were in a group class, I would actually still have you do the roll up, but instead of trying to roll up all the way, we would put you down here and you would roll up this much and you'd go back down. And you'd roll up this much and you go back down and you would work on squeezing your legs together and down, right? Because that's going to strengthen the hamstrings and glutes in a way that not strengthen them like a deadlift would, but like activate them so that you're practicing the habit that you want. If we keep practicing a roll up where your legs come up or a half roll back where your hip flexors are gripping, all we're doing is practicing those muscles to turn on. So I would rather you do just that part of the roll up that you can do while still activating the back of your legs, right? Then I would actually suggest that you're paying more attention to in your practice, your single leg kick, your double leg kick, and your thigh stretch. If you're an OPC member, you can actually submit a video of yourself doing these exercises. So the single leg kick, you're on the front of your body, strengthening the hamstrings, right? So you're here. And what a lot of people do have tight hip flexors is that when they kick, their pelvis rolls. So I want you to kick, but leave that hip still so that you actually get a quad stretch. And I'm strengthening the back of my legs. Your double leg kick, if your hips are twerking off of the mat, then we're going to struggle we're not stretching the front. Thigh stretch, if you do your thigh stretch and you just keep sitting back, you're avoiding the stretch. So that's why you want to pay attention to what you're doing in those 3 exercises, because those 3 exercises are going to help you lengthen the front of your thighs, strengthen the back of your legs, and make roll up and half roll back more accessible because you're not overworking your hip flexors. Now, if you have access to equipment, we have so many other things we can do, right? I might even suggest if you're in a private session with me that we just skip the roll up and just check in every couple of weeks and we work on things like the roll back bar, where I can have you work with bent knees and really work through the tight parts of your back without activating your hip flexors, where we can do a supported thigh stretch, or we could do some leg springs that turns your seat on. I keep looking over here because I'm hoping that Brad might tell me what comments are happening, because that is 0.5 font 10 feet away. So anyways, so keep them coming, keep your questions coming. But do you see what I mean? Like if we're struggling with the hip flexors working in the half roll back, there isn't another modification for that. We actually just have to take away what turns the hip flexors on and then provide you with assistance on what is going to support you getting out of those hip flexors. You know, Jay would always say, practice doesn't make perfect, it makes habit. Right. So anyways, I think that's the hardest thing. So we want to, oh, hi, Shields and Elaine. Hello. We've got Canada. We've got the East Coast. That's so fun. You guys, so spring training's coming up, right? But we're announcing summer tour May 20th. And yes, Brad, I know who Elaine is. Hello, Heather. We're announcing summer tour, and what we're doing is doing like a Saturn ring around the widest part of the states. So Heather, I know that doesn't work for you, but for my peeps who miss us when we get towards the East Coast in the winter time, this is a great opportunity. So make sure you're on our email list because the tickets will go fast. Remember, our classes and workshops are very limited, like 10 to 20 people, right? So, okay, back to what I was saying about hip flexor struggles. Some people might suggest you put a ball between your legs because if you activate your inner thighs, that's going to help. I don't disagree with that. I think that's a great option, but I just want to say, like, it's not the only option. And sometimes the best option is not doing the thing, doing just the first part of the roll up, focusing on the intention of your legs pressing down. If you go into my magic circle tutorials, there's an exercise where you push one leg into a magic circle. I like the mini magic circle by Balance Body for that, or two legs into one circle. Those two exercises would be better for you to do during the roll up time than practicing the roll up or the half roll up where your hip flexors grip, like teaching the things that you need. So I think we have to start to rethink what modifying exercises is. And instead of it being like, oh, okay, well, you do this, it's like, no, what connections are you missing that this exercise is hard for you? And then how can I provide exercises that will find that connection? So for example, if you struggle with grip strength, you just hanging from these bars is one way to develop it. But if you can't even hold for a second, what do we do, right? There's no other way to modify that. Right? I can't even, I'm going to hold you up? No, what I would suggest you do is you grab the sandbag and you do the sandbag tool because it's going to strengthen these forearms. And start with just 1 rep and get yourself up to 3 reps, right? Where 3 times you roll it. Then see if your grip strength's gotten better. I bet you it has because these muscles have gotten stronger. What about a pro resistance band or magic circle to assist, a prop on the roll up? Okay, so like I said, some people would put a ball between the knees or the ankles to assist in getting the midline to turn on to help reduce the hip flexor. Some people might suggest you put the magic circle around your knees and push out. Those are also fine options. However, if these are so tight that this assisted exercise is still gripping, you're still going to be gripping them. So what I would suggest is actually really taking some time to do some homework exercises where you're actually turning on the hamstrings and glutes, like the press down on the magic circle. Then when you put the magic circle around the knees to have them push out, you have even more muscles turning on, right? These tools are only as helpful as the muscles behind them can do it. So we have to so if these are overworking, this is turned off. None of this is on. So we have to teach these things to activate. And it's not going to be as intense as like a deadlift or a hamstring curl is going to be. It's going to be a bit more isometric. Right. So we've got to teach those muscles. So yes, you can put a band around the thighs in the half roll up. Oh, that's just annoying because now I got to take it off. So I'm not a big fan of the band. Even at the gym today, I had to take it on and off 3 times. Like, this is annoying. Is there a way that I could just snap it on? So I prefer the magic circle around the outsides of the knees because you could just take it right off and keep going. The other thing about when you prop up a lot of things is that you have to tend to take time to reset things. And then all the muscles I just turned on just went away. And the honest reason that some things get more possible in your practice as the 30 minutes or 45 minutes or hour goes on is because we have made connections. But if I make the connections and then rest and then have to make the connections again, it just makes it all harder. So, and I understand, look, a beginner is going to need breaks. They're not going to know how to flow versus intermediate. But I will challenge that, like, sure, yes, use the ball, use the magic circle. Those are all going to be helpful. But what are you doing before and after it so that someday they don't need that? Because until they get this to turn on, they're going to need it. Right. So we have to make sure we're taking the time and then looking at the other exercises in the system that could help them. Right. So we're doing Cadillac weekend, and then I'll wrap this up because I gotta charge my phone for my 8 hours on Zoom today. The Cadillac is where we're at this weekend. And I keep asking our people in our group, okay, so what exercise do you struggle with on the mat? All right, what exercise in the Cadillac do you think would help with that? Right? If you struggle with the roll up on the mat, obviously the roll back bar is going to be great. Some people would say the push through bar. I would say the push through bar might be, because if you struggle with hip flexors in the roll up, the push through bar is just going to aggravate those. Just the way that it works, the way that it challenges it. So I would say the push through bar is actually going to challenge the connections you have in your roll up, or the roll back bar is really designed to be supportive. But that's not the only thing, right? If you have a Cadillac, we have breathing. So you can't see, but my trapeze can come here. Breathing means I get to push my legs down into a strap and work the bar down so I can get my arm back connection on and get the whole back body on. So breathing is an excellent way to get out of those hip flexors and strengthen the muscles you need. So I just want to say, obviously, if you're in a mat class only, we are limited. So I would warm everything up as best I can before I prop out. And then I would see if I need the prop before I add the prop. I don't want to make assumptions. And then hopefully, if I have access to the system, I can see what exercises would support the thing that you're missing. All right, loves, hold on. Brad said, so maybe, oh, I love this, Heather. So then maybe working on bridges, single and double kicks and side lines would help my body, glutes and hamstrings. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're on the right track, Heather. Do you see? I love this. Now, what I will say about the side leg kicks is that even some of my favorite people in the world do too much quad on that. So with the side leg kicks, what I highly recommend you do is not be so focused on the leg coming forward. Work on the leg going back without your lower back going forward. So maybe even putting a wall behind your lower back, or a short box behind your back. So as your leg goes back and forth, so the box will be, here, but your leg can move, that you would still stay connected to the box, right? Your leg can only go as far forward as your hip is on the box. Your leg can only go as far back as your hip is on the box. I love this. So those are really great. If you're doing the up down, making sure that you're not hiking the hip to get your leg up. Maybe your leg only goes a little bit. Well, those little circles to the back are going to be excellent. Yes, yes, yes. So anyways, that's fun. I love how your brain did that, Heather. Yay. Thank you. All right. My work here is done. I love you guys so much. Please keep sharing this YouTube channel with all of your friends. I'm really we're at almost 47,000 subscribers, which sounds like a lot. But I really, really have this dream and vision to hit 100,000 subscribers. I know that sounds crazy. It's like double what we've got, more than that. But I believe that if each one of you keeps telling somebody about how this is helpful, that we can get there. And I love doing these lives, and I love that you guys join live because it makes it more fun. I hate talking to the camera by myself. It's what I have to do all day long. And I'm an Aquarius, so I'm already talking to myself all the time with ADHD. So it's a nightmare up here. So thanks for joining me live. You guys are awesome. Check out spring training. Do not miss out on this. We're not doing another event like this the rest of the year online. So this is the one you want. And stay tuned. After May 20th, I will let you know how to get your tickets for the winter tour, a summer tour. Don't get me on the winter tour yet. Summer tour. All right, loves. See you later. Bye. Oh, Shields loves going against the box. I love that. Thanks, Shields. I love that you do that. Bye, guys.